Well, hello there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope everybody is having a beautiful weekend out there. Hope you had a happy holiday if you're here in the States and you celebrated Thanksgiving with your friends and loved ones. It was just another day for me. I had a quiet day here around the house. Went down to Pensacola yesterday and did a few things, and just enjoying the last weekend of college football today. Didn't really have anything prepared going into the end of the week, and then I just thought yesterday, I think I'll update my story a little bit. Have a lot of people watching me now that weren't watching me way back when I've told my story before. So today I'm going to talk about being a 30-year drunk, my raw vegan lifestyle, and the path to my path to health. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you'd go down and hit that subscribe button and come back and check out a little bit more of my content. Before I get started with any of this thing, listen very, very closely to my disclaimer. This is my thing. This is how I did it. This is what I did. I'm not telling anybody what they need to do. I'm not telling anybody what the path is, what the way is. Just like I say, I did this, I feel like this, bing, bang, boom. People, especially, folk, I have a lot of crossover between here and Instagram. People that have followed me here for a long time, but haven't, but they don't follow me on Instagram and vice versa. So a lot of times people are kind of just catching bits and pieces of my story, and they get it sometimes semi-right, sometimes not right at all, but I just thought I would clarify for any new people or people that have not heard before. When I talk about drinking, I was a drunk for 30 years. Now, I don't want to, this is where I'll try to be as careful as possible, but like I say, once again, I'm just telling my story. When you get into abuse of substance abuse, like the subject of addiction and whatever, people are very emotional and people have their ideas and people get a little touchy when their ideas are challenged on this subject. So I'm expecting some people to come in and pontificate about why I'm wrong about this and that and blah, 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 and this and that and the other. But once again, just my story. So I was a drunk for 30 years. And, I get a lot of questions like, well, how do I quit? I'm having a hard time quitting, blah, blah, blah. And that's where I can't give any advice on that other than to do whatever you need to do to get out of that. The reason that I distinguish myself, or that I clarify myself, call myself a drunk as opposed to an alcoholic is that was just, there's a lot of the behavior that could be probably crossover, could be labeled alcoholic, but it took over my life in one way, but it was never a physical thing, if that made any sense. In other words, bottom line is the reason I differentiate and don't say, alcoholic is because I kind of respect that. I've known I've had a lot of friends that are alcoholics. I've had a lot of friends that have had addictions of all kinds. I've had friends that have gotten clean through 12 steps, and I've had friends to this day that go to meetings on a regular basis. And that's a great thing. And it's out of that kind of respect for my friends that have, been through this that I differentiate myself as a drunk as compared to an alcoholic, because just for mainly one factor, when I decided it was time, when I was just done with this, I walked away, I stopped. There was no, I didn't go to rehab. I didn't do any 12 steps. I don't go to meetings. I didn't do anything. I just stopped. I stopped drinking. And the thing is I was prepared. I was serious enough about it when I stopped that if it had not taken, I was ready. I would have gone to a meeting. I would have gone and gotten some help. But the funny thing was that it's not like I'm sitting around, white knuckling it going, I've never really wanted a drink. Every once in a while, I'll get a little bit nostalgic and I'll go by a dive bar and I'll be like, man, I sure would have had a lot of fun in that bar. But it's not like, ooh, I really kind of could use a drink of alcohol, beer, wine, whatever at this time. It was the experience of sitting in a dive bar. But no, I've never since the time. Let me go back a little bit, because the story, I kind of have two sober dates or semi-sober dates. In January, this in just a little over a month, of 2012. Yeah, January of 2012, about the third week of that month, I had finally decided, and the last time I ever got drunk, I was on about a 5 or 6 day drinking binge. And that's part of my drinking. Like when I drank, I drank. I mean, I drank. I was a big old boy when I went to college. I was a big boy for a lot of years after college, so I could drink a lot. And boy, did I. I was that guy, could go out and drink a case of beer, drink a fifth of alcohol, not think anything about it. I was a blackout drunk, blacked out way, way, way. One year I kind of calculated that I blacked out about a third of the year. So, I mean, I was a mess. I was a mess. I did binge drinking. I was a blackout drunk. I wasn't a mean drunk. I didn't get into fights. I didn't, generally say nasty things to people. I was an annoying drunk because I would repeat myself over and over and just have stupid behavior. But that's neither here nor there. So, in January of 2012, I had finally decided, okay, this is it. After the last binge I was on, I was in the fetal position under the covers, shaking. Just wanting the Valium to get off of this. Decided then that was it. I just couldn't do this anymore. It was going to kill me, and I knew I was. That's the whole thing that got me started on the health journey. I knew I was going to have to pay the bill on this whole thing. There was going to be consequences to this. So in January of 2012, I just started making changes, researching health, and specifically researching things that could potentially undo a lot of the damage I had done with the alcohol to my body. Nothing to do with vegan, lifestyle, whatever. Now, incidentally, when I started getting healthy, and I've done this before, I had, kind of decided, okay, it's time to clean up a little bit. And sometimes I'd quit the booze and I would start eating better. Instinctually, even though I wasn't thinking anything about vegan at the time, over the next 6 months, I just, started cutting animal products that was just, what I felt like was the healthiest thing to do. So I'm eating healthier. Oh, let me don't drop the ball with the drinking thing. Now, what I did during that month is I quit drinking. Third week of January 2012, I quit drinking. Now, along the course of my way, I'm looking at stuff. I'm looking into antioxidants. I'm looking into things, to repair damage. I'm looking to things to repair the liver. I'm looking things to detox the body, to cleanse the body. And, I went through different things and I would see different things. And like I say, all during this time, I was cutting animal products out. Okay. About 2 months after I had quit drinking completely, I kind of got into this kick where you're reading about how red wine is so good for you. It's very healthy for you, and how dark chocolate is. Now, that's the little asterisk and why I have 2 kind of sober dates, because after I had not been drinking for 2 months, I started drinking a glass of red wine a day. But I stuck to this. Every single night I would have 1 glass of red wine and I'd have 1 dark chocolate square because this was good for me. Well, fast forward. I'm not going to tell you every single detail of my story or we'll be here forever. Well, fast forward to June of that year. I'd say between March and June, I drank no more than 1 glass of red wine a day. Well, somehow in June, I stumbled across this raw vegan lifestyle. The vegan lifestyle, started looking into it. And right away, I started making some shifts again. And from things I saw there, it was like, okay, yeah, no. I don't need to drink 1 glass of red wine a day. And quite frankly, if I keep doing this, I'll probably rationalize, and before you know it, I'll be back on it. So immediately, June of 2012, stopped completely. Haven't had a drink since then, and I'll be 100% honest with you. Never even thought about going back. So anybody out there that's struggling, if you can walk away from it, it's good. But to the people that are constantly asking me, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? I don't know. But get help. Don't be too proud to get help. There's plenty of places out there. You can get counseling. You can go to a meeting. You can go to rehab. Whatever works for you. Different things work for different people, but get help. And if you do have a substance abuse addiction, you're probably going to have help. You're not going to be able to just walk away from it. But once again, that was just my story. So, okay, then we fast forward to June of 2012, and boom, now I find the raw vegan lifestyle, and I've stopped drinking, and Now, like I say, I'm not going to the food. I think my food journey is a little bit more known on here than the backstory. I started off immediately. My weight plummeted. I got down to about 143 pounds at 6'2". Once again, I always like to make the distinction. I wasn't restricting my food or saying, okay, I can't eat this or I better not eat that. It's just you have to understand that when you start eating like this, you have to eat a lot of food. And I just simply was not eating a lot of food. Like I say, got uber skinny. And, I put some weight initially over the next year, put some weight back on. But for years and years, I was just like uber skinny. I didn't really, I mean, I was healthy. I was healthy. I wasn't malnourished. People say, oh, you're malnourished. And now I look at other people and I'll think that sometimes, although I'm not going to say that to anybody else. But I got tired for myself of just being, this uber skinny all the time. And this last year, I just said, I'm going to put a little bit of solid weight on. Now I'm rolling at about 160, anywhere between 165 and 170. I get in the gym, I feel good. One thing, I've always been open. Number one, like, I'm not going to tell my whole raw food, raw vegan journey, but I just want to throw a few generalities in there that have worked for me since that day. Since the very beginning, I've never had a guru. I've never liked that guru shit. I put it all on me. And I knew from the very beginning that it was all about me doing my research and figuring out what worked for me, trying it on myself, experimenting. And basically, like I say, it all goes back to me. Now, there's a lot of great resources out there, and I took a lot of good information from other people, a lot of advice from other people. But in the end, if I go out there and look right now, there's nobody that's doing like I do. They're either too fanatic, they're crazy, on some kick all the time. They don't eat anything, or they only eat this on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Or it's the people that are always trying. They're never really, they're kind of dabbling around there. They eat healthy-ish, but they never quite get there. I've always just kind of wanted to, feel as good as possible. And I will tell you, I'll finish up with this. For me, I've just always judged this thing by how I feel. How I feel energy wise, and I almost always have energy from this lifestyle. And now, like I say, and this is the kind of crucial period of aging in your life. I'm 55 years old now. When I went on this lifestyle, I was 48. Now, there's going to be, for a lot of people, there shouldn't be necessarily, but that's an age of decline for a lot of people. Next year it'll be 8 years for me. You're coming up on a decade. That's a decade where most people have quite a decline. I have more energy now than I did then. I feel better now than I did then, back before I came to this lifestyle. Digestion, though, that's my number one thing, man. It's like I almost have, and I'm fortunate with this. Listen, I should probably have a lot more damage to my body after living like I did for 30 years drinking, but I don't, and it just is like it is. But my digestion is just almost flawless, and that's how that's why I'm not so fanatic about it. If I eat something cooked from time to time, that's why I pick and choose what I eat cooked and how I eat it cooked and how I integrate it within the rest of the raw food I'm eating, because to me, that's just the greatest part about this lifestyle is it's in and it's out. It's in and it's out. It's always moving through, Great digestion. I can't speak. Great digestion, great elimination. Always feel, light, ready to go. And that's how I'm always going to judge it. And that's what you should do. Listen, the one, I've knocked this off from Bruce Lee so many times I can't even remember now. But Bruce Lee used to say all the time, take what you can from other people, use it, make it your own, and discard the rest. Don't get caught up arguing about what's this guru doing or what's this book say, what's this one do. You're wasting effing time with all of that. Take what you can use and move on. There ain't no time to sit around and argue with people you don't even know on the internet about should you do this, should you do that, should you eat a piece of garlic, should you not eat a piece of garlic, oh, is this good, is this bad? The information's out there. Absorb that information. Spend that time doing your own research and make your own decisions. But I can tell you, there's nobody going to change my mind except this receptacle here, this body telling me, okay, it's time to make some adjustments. But after the way I lived for 30 years, I don't discuss, I don't argue, I don't talk to anybody about how I'm doing something for me. The only thing that's going to change how I'm doing is how I feel. If something happens and I'm like, okay, this isn't working anymore, or I've made some mistakes, we'll adjust then. But for right now, feel the best I've felt in my life. So hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again next week. Peace.